Welcome to Real Estate 411. This week I'm actually going to do a news story. I was listening to the Wall Street Journal, the editorial this week, on the housing illusion. It came out on June 2nd. It makes a sensible call on the economic recovery built by capital investments in plant and equipment so that the United States can grow in a healthy way. And obviously they're doing all this so they can create JOBs, jobs. But instead they're taking the next step on its argument by asking why our businesses and financial institutions aren't deploying their resources to that end is the real key thing that I kind of centered it on. And we as taxpayers and business professionals should really be centering in on this argument as well. It's reasonable to wonder why home ownership gets connected to the investment decisions of businesses and lending decisions of financial service companies. The journal does not actually make that connection back to the Federal Reserve accommodating interest rate policy of 2001. And of course, they're going to blame the housing boom. After the housing boom, the government tried to inflate the housing prices by encouraging banks to modify bad loans, raising the FHA and conventional secondary mortgage on loan limits. But did that really help? Then they turned around and funded a temporary home buyer tax credit. Did that ever help? We're still in the same situation we were before. One of the things I want to make sure that's really clear on what's going on is we as taxpayers have to become more involved in letting our legislator know that we're not happy with what the government is doing. The banks are definitely starting to not want to do what they have been told to do and have taken money to do, which is modify these loans for people. 3 major banks have just lost federal mortgage modification incentives in delivering on the foreclosure relief programs until they make so-called big changes to improve their practices. Interesting enough, only one of those 3 banks actually said that they had room for the improvement. The other 2 disagreed. They actually noted that they didn't have substantial improvement, that they were doing everything per the program. But interesting enough, this is the critical component that makes me as so concerned and should make everyone else so concerned. They've only used millions or a little bit of the billions that are actually have been out there and set aside that these banks have already received. They've received just recently $24 million in payments through HAMP. They have not modified these individuals' payments. So where does that leave us? That leaves us in a situation where our government once again is throwing all this money out there for banks to decide where it's going to be distributed, and they're not even distributing it. They're just taking it, and they're so-called saying they have loan modification programs. If you have time, please reach out to your legislature, write letters, get on a grassroots effort to let the government know that you know what's going on and you want to make a change. If you have any questions at all, or you need any advice on where to go to get to your legislator, just email me through the website at realestate401now.com and I will help you make a difference, because one voice does make a difference.